y'all, and welcome to my vlog. My name is Erin, and today we're going to be talking about heat levels in romance. If you're new to romance, you might not know that not all romances contain sex. There's a wide range of sexy content across the subgenres, authors, and stories. A lot of readers will gravitate to a very specific heat level. Some people just want to read characters getting cozy, and some people want to read about characters going to Pound Town in a raunchy detail. You might be wondering, but why is this even a thing? Just consider heat levels to be kind of like movie ratings. They're going to give you the best reading experience for your personal comfort zone. Whatever your personal preference, there's going to be a heat level that works for you. If you're not familiar, heat is a reference to the sexy content of a piece of media. Hence, heat levels are an indication of what type of sexy times you should be expecting in a given piece. And spice is also used interchangeably with heat. It can be hard to get a common consensus as to what the levels are, what they mean, and what's contained within each of them. So what I'm going to do is create kind of an average based on all the sources that I've looked at. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to be talking about 5 different heat levels, and I will link all my sources below so you can take a look at some of them if you're curious. We'll start off with a brief explanation of each of the different levels, and then we'll go over my opinions on them. Level 1, the clean or wholesome romance. This is the lowest spice level. If something is happening at level 1, there should be 0 sexy times. And when I say 0, I am meaning 0. They probably won't even think about it. The characters might be mildly physically attracted to one another, but you're probably not going to hear about it. You might get some hand-holding, probably a first kiss, but don't be holding your breath for anything beyond that. Level 2, the sweet romance. This level is the home of the fade to black. If you're not familiar with what a fade to black is, there's usually the setup for sexy times, but then the chapter will end and you will reunite with the characters afterwards. At this level, you're aware that a character does have sex or they have had sex before, but majority of the focus is going to be on the character's feelings. If the characters do have sex, it will be behind closed doors and you will hear about the emotional impacts of it rather than any of the juicy details. Sexy times are implied only. You might get some making out, some sexy touching, but no one is getting laid where you can read about it. Level 3, the sensual romance. This level is going to give you on-the-page sex, usually 1 to 2 sex scenes, but you're going to be focused on the emotional side of things. You'll have loads of sexual chemistry and you'll be with the characters when sexy times goes down, but there probably won't be anything too explicit happening, and body parts probably won't be specifically named. Level 4, the hot or steamy romance. You're going to be having graphic sex, body parts will be specifically named, and you're probably going to have 2 or more sex scenes. This level often pushes the boundaries towards erotica, but it is still bound by the HEA of romance. Dirty talk is probably something that's going to be showing up if that's something the characters are into, and there is going to be very little left to the imagination. The story and the characters are going to be developed through these sex scenes as well as the rest of the plot. Level 5, erotica. This is made to get the reader off. These stories are focused around sex. Things are going to be explicitly named, there'll probably be sex toys, more risque sexual acts, and you'll be up close and personal during any and all sexy times. Dirty talk, multiple partners, BDSM, and kink are going to be much more common at this level. Because erotica falls outside of the standard romance, it is not bound by the HEA. The characters involved do not have to end up together, they don't even really have to like each other. The focus is on the physical. And since the story is driven by sex, you're going to have more sex scenes than you would at any of the other levels. Now that you know what's up, let's get into my opinions. And like I'm saying, these are my personal opinions. You don't like them, I'm not interested in fighting about them, but I am open to discussion. I'm not really a fan of romances being dubbed clean romances because they don't contain sex, because I don't think that sex should be considered dirty. I've seen different sources say that the clean refers to 3 different factors, and that is sex, violence, and language. But if that's the case, I'm not sure why they're being measured on the same metric, because those 3 things shouldn't really have anything to do with one another. Who's to say there can't be a romance with a sweet, inexperienced character who's never had sex, but they swear like a sail and punch misogynists in the face? Characters can still have super wholesome relationships even if they're going to the bone zone. And in fact, that's kind of my personal preference. Give your partner orgasms and then curl up with soft blankets, eat cookies, and laugh about stupid things. To me, that is no less wholesome than a pairing who does all those things minus the orgasms. There's one other thing that I am really confused about, and that is that a lot of these sources seem to think that specific things, which I'll go over, only pop into existence once you hit level 4. I'm not sure if it's a publisher-established restriction or how it really came about, but it does not make any sense to me. For example, sex toys. If you can do a fade to black on toyless sex, then I don't understand why you couldn't also do a fade to black where a toy is mentioned. If you're not showing the specific use of it, then theoretically that should be fine from level 2 onwards. Threesomes also tend to show up at level 4, but what if your characters are polyamorous? I mean, they're perfectly able to have the exact same kind of wholesome relationship as a monogamous pair. And just because there's multiple people in a relationship does not mean that it's inherently more sexual. If you can do a fade to black with a monogamous pair, then you should be able to do that with a three-way or a group. Kink is another thing, and I guess it kind of depends on what type of kink you're talking about, but a lot of them, while sexual in nature, are not actually involved in sexual acts. Broaden your horizons, romance writers, and bring some of the weird shit people like down into the lower levels. No one's gonna have an aneurysm because someone sucked a toe or smacked an ass or walked around with a collar on. At least I hope no one's having an aneurysm over that. Also, there's the chastity kink in which people are specifically denied sex. So would that fall under level 1 if there's no sexy times mentioned? Inquiring minds want to know. The other thing usually restricted to level 4 and above is BDSM, which again should really apply to what you're doing. A lot of BDSM does not involve explicit sexual acts, so in theory that should be fine in some of the lower levels. And again, remember, in these lower levels, it's more about what is being shown. So theoretically, things that are more taboo should be okay if you're just mentioning them, right? Anywho, let me know in the comments below if you read romance, what your favorite subgenre is, and what your preferred heat level is. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. My upcoming contemporary romance novel, Heart and Soul, is available for pre-order right now. You can check out the first 3 chapters on my website, and if you would like to enter the pre-sale giveaway for a chance to win some awesome prizes, the link is there as well. There's also my other 2 books, Olympian Confessions Hades and Persephone, and Olympian Confessions Hera, that are available now in ebook and paperback. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. If you'd like to be notified as soon as I upload, then ring that bell. All my social media links will be in the description below, and I will see you all next week with another video. Bye! Look at it's you. You're glowing.